Totally 80s.
So now I'm obsessed with time. Come on, tell me about the time. Had it all in my hand tonight. Had the time.
Welcome to another episode of American Timelines. I'm Amy.
And I'm Grover. Cleveland
Nope. That's Joe.
I'm Joe.
And
we are a beautiful married couple.
And this is the first episode of our 1980s series.
Season 2. This is season 2, the 80s.
Yes, the beautiful
totally
80s.
And we've been together for 20 years.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying, so if people notice a lot of tension between us,
What?
it's all Amy's fault.
Wait a minute. Where did that come from? It came out of the blue.
No, it was out of the blue, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, I think we just get a lot of listener mail. People ask us, like, hey, how long have you been together anyway? What size? What's your inseam size?
Yeah, they do. It's a big hot topic on the street.
So anyway, we've got 10 episodes in the books.
In the can. That's
Season
right.
1 is over. That was the 90s. And as we mentioned, we were learning. We were using the 90s as our, let's figure out how to do a podcast. Let's organize it a little bit. Let's see how it goes. And because it's called American Timelines, we're going to try something different. We're going to try to actually put everything in order from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And we'll see if it...
So we don't have to sit through 20 minutes of wrestling.
Yeah, because Amy got sick of all the sports stuff all at once. Let's sprinkle it around. So I said, let's do chronology then. Let's see if that works.
And smear it all around like feces. All right. So what happened in 1980?
Totally 80s. Totally 80s.
We're going to start at the beginning of the year, January 4th.
Yep.
The number one hit song as we rang in the new year on the Billboard charts was Rupert Holmes.
Uh-huh.
You're familiar with him?
Nope.
He sang Escape, the Pina Colada song.
Oh, if you know if you like Pina Coladas. That's right. Getting caught in the rain. Yep.
So have you ever paid attention to the lyrics of this song?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Well, it's not that. I mean, do you know what it's about?
Yeah, it's like puts a personal ad in, and his lady puts a personal ad in, and then they end up answering each other's personal ad.
Meeting each other, and it was all about
Is
Pina Colada.
my own lovely lady.
Oh, I didn't realize what that was about at all. All I've ever listened to is that.
It's stupid.
So that was a big story that I had. I didn't know that's what it was about.
Yeah, it's a really ridiculous song.
But then at the end, they realized, hey, we both like Pina Colada, so let's forget all our differences and
quit cheating on each other with personal ads.
Yeah, I'll forgive you for sleeping with Jerry because
right.
We like Pina Colada, so then they just got drunk.
That's right.
Okay, well, that's cool. I didn't know that anybody knew that.
It's not really cool. It's not really cool.
I mean, it's cool that you knew that.
Oh, okay.
But if you go on YouTube and search the song, the first video that comes up on YouTube right now is a video on, I think it's like on Soul Train or something, and the Village People actually introduce Rupert Holmes.
Oh my god!
And then Rupert Holmes comes out and sings, and he's your typical '80s guy, like wearing those glasses that turn dark,
blue blockers.
Like, they're not quite blue. They're like the ones that like they're glasses, but then in the sun they get kind of dark.
Amber vision or something.
Amber vision. He's got a beard, like a crappy '80s beard, and he's wearing like a jacket with the sleeves pulled up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like just like your typical '80s banker,
douchebag
guy.
Yep.
Yeah, like poor '80s.
The
so anyway,
80s were rough.
That's cool that
fashion.
you remembered how that goes. So that was number one going into January from December 22nd to the end of 79 into 80. It's a perfect transition to the 80s. Is that
because
song.
80s was all about that kind of crap.
That kind of like
the 80s was, in my opinion, 80s was the worst for fashion.
It's just like you said
the
before.
ugliest
it's
fashion.
White trash.
And
the 80s is the whitest trashiest of the.
And it's all about. It was like the me decade, and it was all about living fast, dying young, and all that stuff. So it's got a real different feel from the 90s.
Cocaine.
Lots of coke, lots of chicks.
A lot of feathered hair.
Lots of chapstick.
Yeah. It's just so bubblegummy. Like everybody had bubblegum, it seemed like. I don't know. It's so...
Yeah.
Such a weird time.
It was.
January 16th, Paul McCartney was arrested and jailed on drug charges.
Oh.
Do you ever hear about this? I never heard about this.
Nope.
In Tokyo.
Okay.
He had landed at Tokyo's Narita Airport with the rest of his band Wings and his wife Linda and their 4 children. Mm-hmm. Prior to a short tour of the country where the drugs were found in his suitcase, customs officials discovered nearly 8 ounces of marijuana, in McCartney's belongings at a time when possession of that amount could be punished with a sentence of 7 years hard labor.
Oh my God.
In Japan. So he was arrested, handcuffed, and questioned for an hour by narcotics officers, who then transferred him to the local jail, while his family and band members were placed in a hotel. Japanese authorities held him there while they decided what to do with him. After 9 days, he was finally released without charge and deported to England. Mm-hmm. The 11 concerts that the Wings were expected to play were canceled. McCartney had been introduced to marijuana in a New York hotel room by Bob Dylan in 1964,
Sweet.
along with the rest of the Beatles.
Yeah.
So isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Bob Dylan taught the Beatles how to smoke weed.
Yep.
Called Prisoner 22. McCartney was given no special treatment in jail. He had to work out for himself.
Wait, he was jailed? I thought they held him.
He was in jail for 9 days.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah, and while he was in jail, he was not allowed to wash and brush his teeth each morning until he had swept his cell and folded his bedding. So that incident led to the Wings breaking up.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Okay, they were pissed. Yep, see you later.
January 19th, Michael Jackson's Rock With
Yeah.
You was the number one song.
Okay.
From January 19th to February 15th, and it was considered one of the last hits of the disco era.
Okay.
Rock with you all night.
I always forget Michael Jackson sings that. That's true.
January 20th was Super Bowl 14.
Oh, boy. You're going to ask me the cost of a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah, oh yeah, and this is going to be hard to guess.
It's going to be hard because I have to subtract.
Subtract 20 years. Go back 20 years from the last one, 19 years.
Jeez.
Okay, first, the Steelers beat the Rams 31-19. Terry Bradshaw was the MVP. Mm-hmm. Do you want to guess who sang the national anthem?
1980?
Yeah.
Shaka Khan?
Oh, that's a good guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think, was she a little later? It was Cheryl Ladd.
Cheryl Ladd?
Yeah. I didn't know she was a singer.
I guess that rings a faint bell.
Like
she was a singer.
I don't. What else? Was she an actress too?
She was a Charlie's Angel.
Oh, that's right. She was a Charlie's Angel.
Yeah, baby. And
Cheryl Ladd.
her
Why
father
was
was
Cheryl?
Alan Ladd. He was a producer.
Oh.
She was
Cheryl
Chris, the blonde one.
But she was a replacement angel, right?
Yeah, she took Farrah's place. I know everything about the Charlie's Angels.
So Farrah Fawcett left. So Cheryl Ladd was like
She
Vance
was Jill
and Coy
Monroe's
Duke.
sister, Chris Monroe. She was her younger sister, was the storyline on the Charlie's Angels.
Is this how you feel when I talk about wrestling?
Yes, and you're going to have to
my
endure
God.
lots
How
of
have I done this
Charlie's
to you?
Angels discussions in the 70s.
But
So
wouldn't
get
Cheryl,
ready.
Wouldn't Cheryl Ladd be like the Vance and Coy of the Duke Boys?
No, she
Like a
was, because
crappy
Farrah
replacement?
was only on the Charlie's Angels for like two seasons.
So it didn't fall apart.
And then
when
Cheryl
Farrah
Ladd
left?
came. Yeah, no, not at all. And then
you sure?
Cheryl Ladd came on, and it was on for a couple, like 4 or 5 more
Are
seasons.
you sure it wasn't just you that liked it?
No, but I did love it. My cousin and my friend Joy and I would play Charlie's Angels all the time.
Yeah, I know I've heard that at length, and the podcast listeners don't give a shit about
All
that.
right.
But so you don't remember when you were like 8 years old, her singing the national anthem?
No.
Being like, oh my God,
I
Charlie's
didn't
Angel.
never-
Oh my God.
No.
Anyway, well, she sang it. She probably
Okay.
sang it wrong because she's a Charlie's Angel.
Maybe-
I don't know anything
you don't
else.
know. Maybe
Her
it was
name's
beautiful.
Cheryl.
Maybe it was
Damn
beautiful.
it, Cheryl. Could you wrap up the
All right.
anthem, Cheryl?
What else?
Halftime show was... now remember, we talked about the 90s is when they started getting big bands.
That's right. So
the real bands. So this was
just like marching bands and stuff.
it was halftime show was Up With People presents
Yes.
a salute to the big band era.
Oh, Up With People.
Yeah.
I remember them.
Do you?
Yes, that's hysterical. I love that.
So it was big band era stuff, and a couple things with the Super Bowl. John Madden did a pregame guest speaking thing,
Yeah.
like a commentating thing.
Yeah.
This was before John Madden had been a head coach.
Okay.
The big fat guy.
I know
and
who he
he
is.
and he did so good as a pregame guest that they hired him to be an
Commentator.
analyst for the next year.
Oh,
And then
wow. Then he was
years
that
and
forever.
years of him being an analyst and the Madden games and all that stuff.
So he
started
was
later.
never a player.
He was a player.
Oh, he was?
Way back in the day.
A long
He
time
was
ago.
a big fat lineman
Right.
guy. And then
Okay.
he was a coach.
Okay.
He won a Super Bowl as a coach.
Oh, okay.
But only once. I
Oh,
mean, he
okay.
only and then he just quit.
Then he
playing.
became a franchise. And then he got his video games
His
and all
whole
that.
thing was like
Yeah.
an analyst, and everybody loved him going boom and saying all this crazy stuff. And
Okay.
I think people love to hate him though, like they do with Joe Buck and Chris Collinsworth. Everybody hates them.
Yeah.
A lot of people hated John Madden. Like I just remember people saying, "Shut the hell up, John Madden."
Okay.
But the cost of a Super Bowl ad in 1980. Do you want to give it a shot?
I'm going to say $725,000.
You're
Way off.
You're way off.
All right.
I mean, I want to divorce yourself.
All right. What is it?
$222,000. That's affordable.
That is affordable.
We could afford a Super
No,
Bowl
we
ad.
could not.
Almost.
No.
With the money we're making on this
We
podcast.
could make American Timelines
American
commercial.
Timelines, 1980 Super Bowl. Go back in the future. You will enjoy something called a podcast.
That's right.
What's a podcast? There's no people in 2018 that don't know what the fuck a
That's right.
podcast is.
It's true.
I keep telling my family, will you listen to the podcast? What exactly is a podcast and how do I listen? Is it on?
Is it on CBS?
January 26th, Rapper's Delight became the first.
Oh, I love that.
It became the first rap single to reach number 1 in Canada.
I knew all the words when I was 8 years old to Rapper's Delight.
But did you hear what I said? It never became number 1 in America.
Oh, well, see, my cousin, Katie, shout out.
Yeah.
Katie
Olsen.
Her mom had a fabulous album collection, and she had the Rapper's Delight, and Katie and I would listen to it, and we memorized all the words, and we would sing.
On a record?
On a
play
record.
the record?
It was the record. A hip, hop, a hippie, the hippie, hip, hip, hoppy, you don't stop for rockin'. You ever been over to your friend's house to eat, and the food just ain't no good? The macaroni soggy, the peas all mush, and the chicken tastes like wood.
Here's the other thing about that song. You know how long that song is?
It's long.
They recorded that with one take.
Wow.
The whole
That's pretty
thing.
impressive.
They just went and did it.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So Rapper's Delight, I knew you would be excited about that. So
yes, I am.
Even though it's not American, number 1 is a Canadian.
It was a hit, though, I think.
It was a hit. But February 16th, Do That To Me One More Time.
Do that
The Captain
to me one
Tennille
more time.
became number 1.
I can never enough with a man like you.
That's about sex.
Yes, I know.
By the way.
Thank you, Captain.
That was included on the duo's 1979 studio album, Make Your Move, and it was written by Tony Tennille.
Okay. Why are we talking about it if it was in 79?
It was on the album in 79, but it became a number 1 hit in
I see.
February
Okay.
16th of 1980.
I see.
So for about a week, it was number 1. But Tony Tennille wrote it, and Captain didn't do shit.
He just had a hat.
Stupid Captain idiot.
Just had a hat.
Yep. February 23rd, Crazy Little Thing Called Love was the number 1 hit. It went to
Okay.
number 1. Remember that? By Queen?
Yep.
Here's the cool thing about that song. Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Yep.
This thing
All right.
called love.
What?
First of all, Freddie Mercury wrote it in a bathtub.
Did he?
He sat in the bathtub when he wrote it. He wrote it in 5 or 10 minutes.
That's weird when grown men take baths.
Well, Freddie Mercury.
That's true.
Of course, he
Yeah.
takes a bath.
That's
you know,
true. He probably has a bath that's like an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Well, it's probably. I'm just picturing some kind of like fancy.
Yeah.
With the legs on it, a
Yeah.
bathtub with the leg. But anyway, he actually wrote it on the guitar too. So I don't know
In
why
the
he had a
bath?
guitar in the bathtub.
Yeah.
I guess it was an acoustic, but he doesn't play guitar. Like he's not known for playing.
Oh,
he didn't
yeah,
really know
that's
how to
true.
play. So he said it took me 5 or 10 minutes to write the song. I did it on guitar, which I can't play for nuts. And in one way, it was quite a good thing because I was restricted, knowing only a few chords. And he said it was a tribute to Elvis Presley when he wrote it.
Because it does sound like that. Yeah. It's definitely not a traditional Queen sound.
Yeah. Well, I
That
think
song.
a lot of their songs are so different.
Yeah, they don't have
That's
a
why they're
real.
great.
Yeah.
But so then once they would play them in concert, Freddie would play a little bit of guitar.
Okay.
Because he wrote it like that. So
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I love that song.
Mhm.
But it was the first Queen song to get number 1, to hit number
Oh,
1
was it?
in the U.S. Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised. I guess that was before like Another One Bites the Dust and We Are the Champions and all that.
Yeah. Another One Bites the Dust is the same
Later.
year. We're going to get to
Oh,
that.
it was the same year.
Yep. February 27th, the 22nd Annual Grammy Awards. So we talked about who hosted them back
Yeah.
then. This is funny because in 1980, Kenny Rogers hosted it
Nice.
at Shrine Auditorium in L.A.
It's before he looked like a 60-year-old woman.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He still looked like my grandfather.
Yeah.
This year was notable for being the first year to have a designated category for rock music.
That's the first year of
First
that?
year. Isn't that
Wow.
crazy? 1980?
Yeah.
And it's the last year there was a category for disco.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I think that would be funny to have a disco category now.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it might come back. That
Yeah.
Bruno Mars sounds like disco to me.
Yeah, that's true. I bet they wouldn't call it disco, though.
Do you want to guess who won the Grammy for Best Disco? The last Grammy for Best Disco?
Diana Ross.
Close.
Let me guess. Donna Summer.
Nope.
Wait, let me
Got
guess.
one more
let
chance.
me guess.
before
Stephanie
I
Mills.
punch you in the face.
Stephanie Mills.
Are you going to just use your last guess that quickly?
No. Shaka Khan.
Nope.
Is it a woman?
Yeah.
Gloria Gaynor.
Yes.
Oh,
You
nice.
got it. You were really ready to guess that one.
I know.
It seems like you wanted to guess that way more than the horse.
I did.
Kentucky
Because I
Derby
had
horses.
a clue.
Cool. Album of the year went to Phil Ramone and Billy Joel for 52nd Street.
Okay, yeah.
That's a great album.
Yeah, it is a
got
good
a lot
album.
of great songs.
Mhm.
Song of the year went to Kenny Loggins and Michael McDonald for
Taking it to the street. Is that right?
No.
Oh,
Kenny
sorry.
Loggins and Michael
Oh,
McDonald.
shit. I don't know. What is it?
For What a Fool Believes.
What a fool believes. Yeah.
You sound just like Kenny Loggins.
I do not. Yeah.
You look like Kenny Loggins, too.
You do.
I probably do. I have a beard. Sometimes I look in the mirror, I'm like,
You look like Kenny Loggins'
fucking
taint.
Kenny. How did I turn into Kenny Loggins? March. We're jumping all the way to March 22nd. We're skipping a whole month.
Good.
Because that Queen song was number 1
Yeah.
all that time. So March 22nd, 1980, new number 1 song by Pink Floyd. You want to guess the song?
Dark Side of the Moon.
Another brick in the wall.
That's a good song.
We don't need no.
Yep.
Burr, burr, burr. You know, it's 3 parts of that song. You know how it's sectioned up kind of thing. All 3 were written by their bassist.
Okay.
You know who that is?
No.
Roger Waters.
I'm not a big Pink Floyd fan.
You're not? Yeah, I never was either.
What else?
The Trix Rabbit
Yeah.
actually got to eat some Trix cereal.
Oh.
You know the situation.
I thought you were going to say he ate one of the kids.
No, he ate one of the kids.
Because he was pissed at him for never giving his Trix. I always thought that was such a bad thing to teach a child that they can't, it's teaching them not to share. Yeah.
We can't share with an animal.
Why not?
A cartoon animal.
He's begging. Like, he's starving. He's so skinny. Just give him some fucking Trix.
I did always think about that. Like, what the fuck is the deal? Just give him the goddamn Trix.
I know.
And end it already.
Seriously. Quit
and
being
put
dicks.
my goddamn cartoon
Those
back
kids
on.
were dicks.
Put Mr. T back on. I want.
Seriously. Put the Justice League back on,
so
please.
do you want to know, like, what led to him being able to eat the Trix?
Was it dystopian hellscape? Futuristic kind of situation?
Close. Actually, it was the second time twice in 1976 and 1980 that the rabbit got to eat the Trix because they did a box top mail-in contest.
Okay.
Entitled "Let the Rabbit Eat Trix," and the kids could vote: yes, let the rabbit eat it, or no, don't let him eat it. And the results of the vote were overwhelmingly yes.
Well, yes, because we were the Gen X. Generation X.
Because we're nice kids. Yeah.
We're nice kids.
And these goddamn millennials will be like, no, fuck the rabbit.
Well, now, let's not alienate any potential
I'm just
listeners
kidding.
here.
Millennials, if you're listening, this isn't for you.
No,
Turn off
stop
the
it.
podcast.
Stop
But actually, I am worried that millennials aren't going to like this. This won't appeal to them. They don't give a shit
They
about
don't
the
know
80s.
the 80s, yeah.
But now our crowd's going to get older. We're going to get 70-year-olds like, how do I work a podcast? What's a podcast? How do I get it? Is it on my phone?
Wait till we get to the 1930s.
There?
That's going to really be.
Is it just in my phone? Does it live in my phone?
All right. What's next?
April 5th of 1980. Mm-hmm. Randy Macho Man Savage wins the ICW Heavyweight Championship.
You've been waiting for him.
He defeated defeated Ronnie Garvin, who they were in a feud with. So this 1980, Randy Savage wasn't even in the WWF yet.
So he was new.
He was new
on the scene.
He was a new wrestler because up until about closer to around this time, he was a baseball player. He played for the Cincinnati Reds. Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He's a pro baseball player?
Randy Poffo was a pro baseball player. Yep.
What's his last name?
Poffo.
Oh, and he changed it.
Well, his dad was Angelo Poffo, a famous wrestler, and his brother was Lanny Poffo. And
Okay.
he changed his name because he wanted to earn his superstardom on his own.
Okay.
He didn't want
Is this according to his autobiography that you've memorized?
No, I know everything about Randy Savage because he's the greatest. He's just the greatest of all time.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, yes, never do a Slim Jim. Anyway,
All right.
April 19th, Call Me became the #1 hit
Call
on
Me.
Billboards. Blondie.
I love it. Love that.
You love that song?
I do love that song.
Do you know it's from a movie?
No.
See, I didn't know that either. I thought you would have known this. I thought you'd tell me this.
No.
It was the main theme song of the 1980 film American Gigolo.
I remember that movie.
You do?
I mean, I didn't see it. It was a rated R, I believe.
We should watch it.
But I remember it being, I remember it existing.
The main character of the film is a male prostitute.
Yeah.
But the Italian disco producer Giorgio Moroder originally asked Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac to do that song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but she declined because she had signed a contract with Modern Records.
I can't imagine Stevie Nicks' voice doing that.
Yeah.
Debbie Harry's voice is so good in that song.
Well, it would have just been different.
Yeah,
of a
totally
song,
different.
probably.
Yeah.
Because they
She
said
couldn't sing that high.
They said Stevie Nicks was going to compose it and perform it, so it would have probably been a different song.
Yeah.
April 21st, 1980, the Boston Marathon winner.
Mm-hmm.
Rosie Ruiz. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
I didn't know this happened either. The declared winner of the 1980 Boston Marathon, Rosie Ruiz, was later stripped of her title.
Okay.
After it was discovered that she snuck into the race a half mile before the finish line.
Oh my God.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's funny.
Like they all celebrated her.
Yeah.
And you can look up there's interviews with her passing the finish line. She pretended to be like
exhausted and stuff.
Fall down. They carried her off and everything.
Oh, sneaky.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
So they later had to give it to whoever was after her, and they and a lot of people, like, as they look back at camera footage,
Yeah, and they're like, wait a minute.
she wasn't in the race
Where
anywhere
is
else. So
somebody lost their job probably that day.
you would think, yeah. So she later got in trouble for other fraud things too. But
Oh, really?
Rosie Ruiz,
She was a
that's what she's famous
lifelong
for.
criminal.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. May 1st, the Rubik's Cube
Oh, yeah.
was released in America.
That fucking thing.
It was a 3D combination puzzle invented in 1974.
Oh.
But it wasn't available in the U.S. until 1980.
I never in my life could even get one side of the goddamn thing.
I can't do any of it.
I mean, I don't get it
I
at
remember
all.
being a kid, we
Take the stickers off.
You take stickers off, or we figure out a way you could actually
take
rip
the pieces off, yeah.
and put it back on.
Yep. Yeah, we did that too. And it's like, why would you even have the toy if you're going to cheat?
It's so dumb. It's not a toy.
But they had them.
It's not a toy.
They had them in all different shapes too. It wasn't just a cube. They had a pyramid. They had a snake. They
it's
had all this
not a toy. It's a frustration vehicle.
It really is.
It's like piss your kids off.
And then they show these people on there that in 2 minutes they'll sit there and get it solved.
Well, that's even under a worst case scenario, you get it all crazy looking. Mm-hmm. No Rubik's Cube is farther than 20 moves from being solved, they say.
How?
That's bullshit. Your brain has to just work differently, I think.
It's crazy. And I don't even understand people that can solve Rubik's Cubes.
No, yeah.
If you can solve a Rubik's Cube, hats off.
Don't you think it's a way to diagnose autism maybe or some kind of...
I don't know.
If you can solve it, you probably have autism.
Yeah, it could be.
Or
they're geniuses.
Or they're super geniuses.
Yeah.
Okay, May 3rd, the Kentucky Derby winner.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now you got to guess. Think of an 80s name. Think 2 words.
I don't know. Please don't make me guess that.
Genuine Risk.
That's not an 80s name.
Well, Risk is a game.
Do they always have to have 2 names?
I don't know.
It seems like it.
Seabiscuit.
Seabiscuit's 1 word, though, I guess.
I don't know.
But they seem like they always have 2 names.
May 9th, the movie Friday the 13th came out.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Did you know that originally the name for Jason was Josh?
No, that doesn't sound very ominous.
That's exactly it. They thought it sounded too nice, so they changed it to Jason after a school bully of the guy who started, Victor Miller.
Oh, wow. That was funny.
Bing Crosby's son Harry was in the movie. Did you know that?
Really? I didn't know that.
Did you know Kevin Bacon was in it?
Of course.
You did know that?
No.
Oh, he was.
I did not, but that's one of the things.
And do you know who auditioned for it and didn't get it?
No.
Sally Field.
What?
She auditioned.
She was already pretty popular back then, wasn't she?
In 1980? I don't know, maybe, but she couldn't get in Friday the 13th.
She was like in the Flying Nun and stuff in the 70s, I think.
I don't know. They didn't want her for that, apparently.
Oh, wow.
May 16th, the NBA championship. The Lakers beat the Sixers.
Oh.
You know either one of those teams? Anything about them?
Who cares? I know Lakers are Los Angeles, and you told me before they were originally Minnesota from the Great Lakes.
So Magic Johnson was the MVP, and I liked the Sixers at the time when I was a kid. I didn't care much about basketball because
Where's
Dr.
the Sixers from?
Philadelphia 76ers. I loved Dr. J when I was a kid because Julius Erving, Dr. J. I didn't know anything else about him, but I think I liked him because J. You know, you're a little kid, and my name starts with J.
Your name starts with J.
So I love the letter J.
Yeah.
I was like 4.
It's like takes nothing more than that.
Yeah. I feel like I had a poster or something of him. Dr. J. I love Dr. J. He's my favorite basketball player. It's Dr. J. I need another Hop Slam.
God.
You go get me one?
No.
Okay, I'll do this next one and then I'll do Hop Slam. 18th of May, Mount St. Helens. Mm-hmm. Do you know about this?
It erupted?
Mount St. Helens erupted on May 18th, 1980. Mm-hmm. Photographer Robert Landsberg was documenting the changes in the volcano from just a few miles away. Realizing that he couldn't possibly outrun the approaching ash cloud, he kept shooting for as long as he could before using his body to preserve his film.
Whoa.
He managed to rewind the film back into its case, replace his camera in its bag, put the bag in his backpack, and then lay himself on top of the backpack in an attempt to protect its contents.
Oh my God, and it died?
17 days later, his body was found buried in the ash with his backpack underneath his body.
Oh my God.
And the film could be developed and has provided geologists with valuable documentation of the historic eruption.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts.
That's fucking crazy, man. I wouldn't do that shit. I'd be like, fuck, I'm dying. Oh shit, everybody else is screwed.
That guy was a dedicated man.
Yep.
Wow.
Robert Landsberg. And that's why we named our son after him.
No, we did not.
May 21st, Empire Strikes Back was released.
Oh, yes.
Star Wars. This was widely considered
the best one,
the greatest Star Wars movie of all time. Mm-hmm. I talked about last time, Phantom Menace is widely regarded as the worst.
Yep.
This is the best. Everyone still thinks so. I think because...
I like it the best.
Why do you think it's the best?
I think I like the storyline the best. I think they did it the best.
You like the love story between Han and Leia?
Well, the all of it. You know, like the characters were already developed because it's already been one movie, and so they
usually sequels are terrible though.
Yeah, but you could tell this was like an epic thing that was going to go on and be, I don't know.
I think it's the best because there's
so many cool scenes in it.
Yeah, cool scenes. Like they start in the snow world.
Yeah.
If it was all in the snow world, Hoth, it probably would have been not
Stupid.
that great.
Right.
But they had a bunch of snow scenes.
Yeah.
And then the tauntaun and right away at the beginning, Luke is in danger.
Yeah,
and all this
it's
stuff.
fast
and
acting.
then they go to a different
Fast.
planet, and
Yeah.
there's the Luke Darth Vader stuff.
Yeah, and Yoda, right,
in
comes in that one. Or was he in the first one? He was in the first one, wasn't he?
No, he was not in the first one.
Oh, okay.
Return of the Jedi is when he trains.
Oh, it is. Okay, so.
Or is Return of the Jedi when he comes back? Yeah, I guess he does go and meet Yoda, and that's when he starts training to be a
Yeah,
Jedi.
that's what I thought in
I
Empire
think.
Strikes Back.
God dang it. I can't remember. They all run together for
I know
me.
they do. And there's people screaming right now.
Damn,
Your brother
Freddie gets
Andy's
I
killing
know,
himself right now.
And I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm not a
Die Hard.
I'm not a crazy on Hoth, the timeline of Hoth.
Excuse
originally
me,
began-
in scene 43 of The Empire Strikes Back, you failed to mention...
Yeah, I don't know that much of it, but I love it all, and I couldn't just name a scene and tell you
No.
where it's from. Dang it, when did that happen?
All right.
Okay, Return of the Jedi, he comes back and he's already trained. That's right, because he comes in all
That's
black.
what I thought. Yoda
He's
was
already
in the
trained. So
Empire
Yoda's
Strikes
in
Back.
Empire, and then, yeah, that's right, okay. It takes me a minute. I've been drinking,
All
right?
right.
And I'm old.
What else?
Screw you guys. Oh, so I have a little bit about Empire.
Okay.
James Earl Jones, you know, is
Yes.
the voice of Darth Vader.
Yes.
He declined to have his name appear on the credits of both Star Wars Episode 4 A New
Oh.
Hope and Episode 5 Empire Strikes Back, claiming that he had felt his contribution wasn't significant enough to warrant
Oh,
the
wow.
credit, even though he's like the greatest thing
Yeah.
about everything.
Yeah, he is.
The 23rd of May, The Shining was released.
Oh, what a good movie. We're watching that tonight. After
Tonight?
this, we are
All
watching
right,
that.
We're going to watch this. Okay, good.
Because you have not seen it.
I have. Not all. I probably have seen it, but not
I'm making you watch it. It's such a good movie.
what
Such
I
a
am-
good movie.
with any movie, whether I like it or not.
You forget it in
I
2
forget
days.
it. So it's a
Yeah.
benefit to me because I can see movies over and over, and it's like a new movie. Secret of
You
My
are watching it
I saw Secret of
again
My Success
with
45 times.
That's sad.
Okay, so to get Jack Nicholson in the right agitated mood in The Shining, he was only fed cheese sandwiches for 2 weeks, which he hates.
Well, and Shelley Duvall was
Yeah.
tormented
She was.
by Martin Scorsese. No, who directed it? Martin Scorsese?
no.
The other guy. What's his name? Tip of my tongue.
I looked up
The
a
other
bunch of
big,
stuff about
the other
him.
big director.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yes,
Yeah.
he tormented her
He
and
treated her very badly.
treated her awful, and she almost had a nervous breakdown.
Well,
And
they
her
said
hair was falling out.
Jack
and-
Nicholson's girlfriend at the time, I forget her name, she's famous, but said that he would be so exhausted after filming, he would get home from filming and just fall in the bed, fall right asleep immediately.
Yeah, I bet.
It took 3 days to film the "Here's Johnny" scene.
Gosh.
They used over 60 doors.
Oh wow.
They started out with like breakaway doors,
Yeah.
and because Jack Nicholson, he was a former volunteer firefighter,
So he was really going full
busted
forward.
He busted them too easily,
Yeah.
so they had to get real doors. So it took them 60 doors to get that right, and
And-
they almost cut the
Jeez.
"Here's Johnny" part.
That was
Stanley
ad
Kubrick-
lib?
Yeah, it was. Stanley Kubrick didn't know what Johnny Carson was. Like he didn't
Oh.
get why he did it.
Yeah.
24th of May, 1980, the Islanders won the Stanley Cup.
Who cares?
Who gives a shit about hockey? May 31st, the top song, a new song on the #1 charts, Lips Inc. Funky Town, won't you take me to
Funky
a
Town.
funky town?
That's right.
Won't you take me to
Funky Town.
So the only thing I have about that is the song was written while the band lived in Minneapolis with dreams of moving to New York.
Oh,
That's what Funky Town's supposed to be.
okay.
They want to leave Minneapolis for New York because it was more funky than Minneapolis.
Yeah, it sure
I'm
is.
sure Minneapolis in 1980 wasn't very funky.
No, nothing funky.
Yeah, Prince and Kirby Puckett were the only black people
Mm-hmm.
there. So that's not funky at all. And so on June 20th,
Yeah.
the Blues Brothers movie came out.
Oh, I love that movie.
You love that movie?
I thought you were still talking about the guy, so that's why I was like, what?
No, that's on the Blues Brothers. So you have a June 20th thing, and I have a couple Blues Brothers. So on the day of the Blues Brothers movie being released, one thing happened while they were filming the Blues Brothers. John Belushi was on a lot of drugs at the time.
Yes.
And he once disappeared from the set. And he was absent for hours. They had a limited time to shoot the scene, so all the crew began searching for him. Dan Aykroyd, who was wandering cluelessly in the night looking for John Belushi, followed an off-road path and came across a house with the lights still on, so he decided to try his luck and knocked on the door. A man opened, and right when Aykroyd was about to introduce himself to the man casually asked, "You're here for John Belushi, aren't you?" To which he added, "He came in here an hour ago and raided my fridge. He's asleep on my couch."
Oh my gosh.
Aykroyd would endlessly tease Belushi about that afterwards, calling him America's guest. Can you imagine if John Belushi showed up?
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
You would just let him.
Yeah, you let him do whatever he wanted. That's right.
John Belushi, holy shit!
In the summer of 1980, there was a lot of mayhem going on in the city of Los Angeles. In the year 1980, more than 1,200 homicides were committed in Los Angeles, and
1,200.
Yes, during the whole year, and there was many that were kind of particularly bizarre and gruesome, and there was this pair of sweethearts, psychopathic sort of sweethearts, called the Sunset Strip Killers, and this is the story of the Sunset Strip Killers: Doug Clark and Carol Bundy.
Sound hot.
Wait till you get a picture of Carol Bundy. Wait till you see this woman.
Doug Clark and Carol Bundy. Y'all.
So, Carol Bundy was born in August of 1942, and she suffered from very poor eyesight from a childhood on. Like thick glasses. Very thick glasses.
That's how I like my ladies. Thick glasses.
Her father was an alcoholic. They moved the family from town to town. Her mother was abusive to her and her sister. Then her mother died, and then her father started molesting Carol and her sister. So she had a pretty bad time growing up.
Yeah, that's not good. It's not ideal. It's not how you want to be raised.
No. And by the age of 15, she was promiscuous with schoolmates and the school bus driver. So that's bad.
That bus driver,
That's right. When she was 17...
People think bus drivers can just do whatever they want, but you can't. You can't do it with the kids.
When she was 17, to get away from her father, she married a 56-year-old man.
As you would.
Yeah, but then she left him because he was drunk and he wanted her to prostitute herself.
And she wasn't
going to do that.
She was like, I'm tired of that.
So then she meets this man named Richard Geis, who is 32, and he was a writer of pornography and science fiction.
Both?
Yeah, both.
Separately?
Separately, I think. Maybe together
science
sometimes.
Fiction and porn, but I do not
combine
mix
them.
The two.
No
science fiction porn.
But incredibly, this was a healthier relationship than any of the others that she had.
Yeah, sounds like a healthy.
He encouraged her to write. She liked writing, and he encouraged her to write. She even got a short story published in a magazine.
Oh, look at the porn writer helping her out.
And then in 1962, her father hung himself. And so then she kind of went through a crisis period, and she would fluctuate between men and women. She and Geis moved to Oregon, and she went to nursing school.
He was cool with her doing it with
I guess.
people?
I think there was just infidelity in general going on in there.
I guess a porn writer.
Yeah. So she went to nursing school in Oregon.
I think I could write porn. I probably could write some.
All right. Then she would still prostitute herself to other men for money, though.
But I thought she said no to the prostitution.
That was when she was
with that other guy. She just didn't want to do it for him, but she'd do it for herself.
For herself, yeah.
Okay.
And so they break up. Then she meets this other man, Grant Bundy, and marries him, and has 2 children with him.
Oh.
But
she didn't have kids with the first one.
No.
These are her first 2 kids.
Yeah. Then he also abused her, and this got worse because her eyesight was getting worse and worse, and she got more dependent. And then he felt like he was having to care for the 2 kids and her.
So he started beating the shit out of her.
That's right. And so she.
I feel like this was way more prevalent then too.
Yeah.
Back then, people just hit.
Yeah, it was it was considered kids, okay or something. So in 1979, she took off with the kids, and they went to a shelter for abused women, and then she goes 2 weeks later and gets an apartment in Van Nuys, California.
Van Nuys,
California.
That's okay. You can't be expected to know everything. I mean,
that's right.
Every once in a while, there's something that I know that you don't know.
I do know everything except for the stuff I don't know.
You don't know anything about.
Okay. So
Bill Lambier.
So she moves to this apartment in Van Nuys, California, and the managers of the apartment complex where she moves is this married couple.
Okay.
And
hot married couple?
Jeanette and Jack Murray. And she becomes infatuated with the husband, Jack Murray.
Jack Murray. I know a guy named Jack Murray.
Well, he was an Australian singer, aspiring singer.
Not same guy.
No. He came to America to make it as a singer from Australia.
Okay.
But
so he was in Men at Work probably.
No. The wife wasn't worried, though.
Jeanette Murray was not worried. She didn't see her as a threat.
No, because she was 36, overweight. She
giant glasses.
Real short brown hair and these real thick glasses. Heavy gal.
I ain't worried. Jack Murray's not going to want to do it with that glasses having heavy lady?
Well, because even though the husband was known to philander, he
But
like
never with somebody with glasses.
well, he
that
liked
big.
blondes and long legs and all this stuff.
Not chubby glasses
But
having ladies.
but he would go. Carol was calling him all the time to come to her apartment and fix things, and
Try
he
to
would
woo
drive
him.
her to the Social Security office and doctor's appointments. And
Really?
he convinced her that she could get her eyes fixed.
And then he would do it because he would get those horrible glasses. 'Cause,
Right.
I mean, I'm with him on this. Women with glasses are disgusting.
So she did go to a doctor, and they said that they could correct some of her vision
really?
problems.
You get
And,
her less-
I mean, she still had to wear glasses, but she
Not
could actually,
LASIK.
because right now she couldn't even
She
go
couldn't see
become a
or
nurse.
drive or
She had
anything.
gone to nursing school, but she couldn't get
Oh.
a job because her eyes were so bad. So they did
You
end up
can't
fixing
see.
her glasses or fixing her eyes to the point where she was able to get a nursing job. She ends up seducing him though. By the his third or fourth visit over, she follows him around everywhere.
She's
Then
obsessing over him.
Yes.
She's following him around, but they did do it together.
yes, and she gave him access to her bank account, and she was giving him money. She had this money. She had a $25,000 settlement from the sale of her house with her ex-husband.
Oh.
She gave him $10,000. She gave him $10,000.
Was he manipulating her to do this?
I'm
or
pretty
she's
sure.
Just wanting
No,
to do this?
I think it's a little of both. Like she's kind of a doormat. She does whatever anybody wants. And then she goes to Jack's wife, Jeanette, and offers her $1,500 if she'll leave Jack.
$1,500.
Yeah, and Jack finds out. He gets real pissed off.
Oh.
And so she goes to there's this bar that she would go to that Jack would go sing at called Little Nashville. And
In Van Nuys?
yeah, and she meets Doug Clark there. And it's instant.
She goes to watch Jack sing.
Yes.
And then she's like, fuck, Jack, look at Doug.
Doug Clark. And he sees her sitting at the bar and sees what a easy target she is.
Oh, he's just after her. He's not like in love with her. He's
No.
just like, I'm going to take advantage of
because she's by herself. She's
Giant
real.
glasses.
Yeah, she looks like she could
lumpy.
really. And so Doug Clark, he was born in Pennsylvania in 1948, and his father was in the Navy, and they would move around a lot. And he was so he could travel the world. He had a privileged childhood. People that knew the family, they didn't notice anything strange about them, except that the parents, whenever Doug would get in trouble at school, the parents would aggressively defend him.
Those kind of parents.
Doug would brag about sexual exploits to his classmates.
That's normal.
And
Every dude does
Doug's
that.
parents had been called to the school
Not every dude.
on a number of occasions because of bad behavior, including drunkenness, stealing a bicycle, writing an erotic letter to a female teacher. Despite that, and then he got expelled from school. But then later, when his parents were interviewed, they said there was never any signs of behavior problems with him as a child.
The parents said that?
Yeah.
Because they were clearly in denial.
That's
They're
right.
defending everything.
Everything
They're
he
the kind
does.
of parents that he can't do any wrong.
And that's
blah,
probably
blah,
part
blah.
of just the creation of the monster.
Yep.
So then he's sent to a military academy. And he is obsessed with girls and sex, and he brings a girl to his room, and then he secretly records having sex and then shows it to his
Like a
classmates.
VHS?
I think
So
it's audio. Then he would take photos, secretly take photos somehow, and
Audio recording
pass
and
them
photos.
around, and then pass those around school.
Oh,
So
like
he was,
Polaroids, probably.
yeah, probably. So then he graduates, and he goes to the military for a while, and he's discharged. Then he moves to Van Nuys with his sister, and then he gets married. And so then he meets and marries a woman named Beverly.
Oh, Beverly. Hi, Beverly.
She
Won't get
didn't
married?
say exactly what went wrong with their marriage. She just said he was real lazy.
Well, that's typical.
But she never, he would wear her underwear
Well,
sometimes,
is that frowned upon, Beverly?
even as a child, his mom caught him wearing her underwear at times. So that was, but this wife didn't think that was weird, or that he wanted to try.
I had other boyfriends that have worn my underwear. I mean, it's me
Yeah.
underwear, you underwear. Mi casa, su casa, with underwear.
But also that he wanted to try wife swapping and three ways and stuff, and she wasn't into it. So,
you just got to be, either you're up for that or you're not.
so she starts gaining more weight as
Beverly
they're married.
does?
Yeah, and he starts
Damn it,
spending
Bev.
less and less time at home.
Bev, could you just wait a while?
he-
Jenny Craig?
He
maybe,
drinks
Bev?
a lot. He
Slam?
can be angry when he's drunk too.
Oh, well, that's not good.
No. Then their marriage ended in 1976.
Oh, Doug.
1979, Doug begins to work at the Jergens factory.
Oh,
So
the
there's
Jergens
a natural
factory.
place
Doug
to
is-
work if
Doug
you're
is moving on up.
yeah, natural place to work if you like to
Jerk off.
Yep. So I was thinking, all right.
Jergens.
All right. So
Then
in February 1980, he set fire to his own car outside the Jergens factory to get insurance money.
Oh, yeah.
So by the time he meets Carol, so now we're back to where he's meeting Carol at that bar.
Fast forward to the bar.
So-
Doug and Carol's eyes meet.
He has developed a talent for putting himself into the lives of these overweight and unattractive women.
Is this 1980?
Yeah, who will give him the free rent and food and money, and all he needs to do is give him a little bit of attention. And then if they want more, then he just leaves them and moves on.
That's all I've ever done.
That's true. They move in together very quickly after they meet.
Well, because she's ready for something. She needs
She needs something, but she's still maintaining her affair with this Jack Murray guy.
He's still going at it.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. So Carol and Doug's sex life had these very bizarre sexual fantasies that were involved. He had this fantasy where he would capture this young girl and keep her as a slave, and they had a bondage thing and all this other stuff. So pretty soon he's like, breaking down. He's desensitizing her to these extreme fantasies, and he's getting worse and worse. And then he starts to suggest murder as being involved in the sexual fantasies. He starts having them include
murder somebody,
and it would be fun to kill, and that any woman that really loved him would help him kill somebody. And so,
what's Carol saying about all this?
She's all right with it.
She's opening up to it?
She's opening up to it. That's right. They had this 11-year-old girl in the neighborhood.
Oh, no.
What
would happen to her kids? What about her? She has 2 kids, right?
They're there. These 2 boys are there.
Oh, really?
Living there, yeah.
Oh,
and there was this 11-year-old girl in the neighborhood that they would bring over, and they were doing stuff. So anyway,
doing stuff to her, like tying her up, all that stuff.
I don't know if it was that bad. They were taking pictures of her and stuff. So but it wasn't good. Whatever it was, it wasn't good.
No pedophilia.
I know. I kind of graze over that part. So she became aware that. So one night he comes home and he's covered in blood. And there's blood on his jacket and in his teeth and all over his hands.
His teeth?
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's just,
I just fell.
It's just wine.
I fell on the sidewalk. No.
A little bit of blood on me. Don't notice it. Well, she probably didn't notice because you can't see anything, right?
So she takes him to the bathroom. She tells her boys to go back to bed.
Go back to bed, honey. Daddy's got blood in his teeth.
Then a week later, it happens again.
Or Doug, because he's not their dad.
No.
Doug's got blood in his teeth again. So a week later, he's got more blood in his teeth?
It happens again. He comes back again and he does it. Yeah. He tells her that he killed another woman's boyfriend who had attacked him the week before. Like he said it was the same boyfriend. He got in a fight with him one night, and then the week later he says, I killed the guy. I had to kill him because he attacked me again. Yeah. And that's what he tells. So she tells her kids that somebody tried to steal the car and that Doug heroically fought the attacker off and stuff. So she's
telling them stories.
So she also finds a duffel bag full of bloody clothes in the back of the car that they shared.
Well, I got a duffel bag full of bloody clothes in the back of my car.
Oh, well, that's right. She takes the bag of clothes to the laundromat and washes all of it. That was her kind of what she did.
Yeah,
I guess.
She was
so I think she's starting to know. She
was the cleaner.
She's starting to know.
Victor the cleaner.
Well, and Doug told her that he had been cruising down the Sunset Strip in the Buick on the afternoon of the June 11th.
Okay.
When he saw these 2 teenage girls that were sitting at a bus stop. And he stopped and he tried to get them to get in, but he wanted to get the blonde one to get in, but she wouldn't go by herself. So she gets her friend to come with her.
Blondes never get in by themselves.
So he stopped the car in a parking lot and he shot both of them.
He shot them?
Mm-hmm. And then he sexually assaulted them and shot them, and then there was necrophilia involved as well. We'll kind of graze over that topic too.
Necrophilia.
Yeah.
That's when you have sex with a dead person.
That's right.
Those of you children listening,
that's right.
That's when you have sex with a dead person. That's necrophilia.
So anyway, he confesses to Carol this whole story that he killed those 2 girls. And then it goes on the news, that these bodies are found.
Oh, no.
And so she calls the police.
Are they married at this point?
No, they're boyfriend, girlfriend.
They're just lovers.
So she calls the police. And she doesn't say who she is, and she doesn't say who he is, but she says, my boyfriend, I think, killed those 2 girls. Can I get you to confirm some of the information that he told me? And then it gets disconnected, and she doesn't call back. So
there's no caller ID or call waiting back then?
I don't think the call was long enough for any kind of tap that would have been on it.
1980, you don't have nothing. Nobody's not doing anything.
So on Sunday, he drove her to a ravine where he dumped the body of Marnette Corner, who was another sex worker he had picked up on the Sunset Strip. Then on June 20th,
the same day the Blues Brothers movie came out,
that's when they had their first joint kill. So this is when he's finally talked her into killing with him.
She now knows he's killing, even though she called the police.
Yeah,
it got disconnected, or she disconnected it.
It's unclear because some things I read said it was disconnected, but then the thing I was watching on the ID channel said that she hung up.
So it could have been her hanging up. It could have been him unconnecting it.
No, I don't think he ever found out that happened.
He
Or he
didn't know
probably
that
would have killed her.
He would have killed her.
He
right?
probably would have, yeah.
So she probably just decided, I'm in it to win it.
Yeah.
I'm going to murder.
Yeah, I'm going to do it now.
So on that same day that this June 20th, it's the same day the Blues Brothers movie came out.
That's right. Oh.
Also on June 20th, that night on television, if they had been on right before they decided to do this, they flip on the TV, there was a show on TV called 10 Speed and Brown Shoe.
I remember that show.
You do?
Yes, it was a white guy and a black guy.
You know who they were? I didn't know
it
this.
was. Wait a minute, it was Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Oh, it was the black guy.
It's the greatest black guy ever.
Oh gosh,
I didn't
Is it
know
Ben,
this.
Ben Vereen or
Ben
something?
Vereen!
Was it really?
It was Ben Vereen.
Can you believe I
and
remember
Jeff
that?
Goldblum. I can't believe Jeff Goldblum and Ben Vereen were on a show and you didn't bother telling me.
Can you believe that? Are you proud that I remember that?
How do you remember
I don't
that?
know.
You are old.
I do not know how I remember that.
10 Speed and Brown Shoe?
Yes,
You remember that?
I do remember. I loved the show.
So I'm a little upset with you, and I'm not sure
Why
if our
is she-
marriage can continue because you've
Why?
gone through almost 20 years of being with me.
Without telling you about 10 Speed and Brown
Without
Shoe.
telling me about 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. Like, I mean, just the fact that Jeff Goldblum and Ben Vereen were on a show together. I mean,
Yeah.
all the times I talk about Ben Vereen, you could have said he was on a show with Jeff Goldblum.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Every time Jeff Goldblum
It was
on
one of those
TV,
things I thought about since you just mentioned it.
Oh my God, 10 Speed and Brown Shoe was on that night, the same
Yep.
night this happened.
That's right. They have their first joint kill. So they pick up another sex worker who said her name was Kathy, and then they shoot her and dump her in
And
some nearby
Friday,
bushes.
June 20th, they pick up somebody
Yeah.
named Kathy,
And they shoot her and dump her in the bushes.
dump her in the bushes.
Well, I don't know what else was going on. They probably assaulted her too, but
Gross.
all right.
The
So
dead
then
body.
the next day, Doug goes back to the strip and he tries to pick up.
On June 21st?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same day that Hulk Hogan defeated Angelo Gomez and Fred Marzino in a handicap match. And Hulk Hogan was a bad guy in 1980.
Well, you told me that.
So the next day, he was a bad guy wearing a gold cape.
That's stupid.
Classy Freddie Blassie was his manager, and he fought two guys and he beat them both.
Jeez.
They're two no-name guys. They were building him up as this big badass guy. He's a big
So
bad.
so he goes back to the strip and he tries to pick up these 3 sex workers who are there.
3 sex workers?
3 of them.
At the same time?
Yeah.
He's just getting bolder and bolder.
He's getting going into they call it the berserker mode when they start to go crazy a little bit.
So is this a serial
killer?
Serial killer because he's
He's a serial killer. These are serial killers, both of them.
because they're living life in between these
Yes,
things. It's not a
right.
mass snapping.
Right.
So she's not with him.
She's
This
not with
night.
him. So
This is Saturday.
yeah, so he can't get in any of them in the car. So he drives off and then he comes back later and then there's one there by herself, one of the girls.
Oh, it's easier to get her by herself.
So he gets her, picks
He's
her
having
up,
a nice little Saturday.
he kills her, he decapitates her. Then
Does it say how they kill him? They just
It
shoot him?
Yeah, he shoots her. He decapitates her. He leaves the body in a car park, and then he puts her head on the floor of the back seat of his car. And then he goes back. He starts to realize
in his car
in the floor of the back seat. Yeah. So he starts to head home, and he realizes that her friends might be able to identify him. So he goes back to
Kill them?
where he picked her up, and then one of the other friends is back. So he gets her to get into the car. And they start driving around. She doesn't even know that the head of her girlfriend is on the floor of the back of the car. She's driving around with this guy.
What?
So he's.
What? Wait. They wouldn't get in the car with him when all 3 of them were there.
I don't know why they did one at a time.
One at a time, they will.
Yeah, I don't know. So then he stops the car, pulls out his gun. She starts screaming, and these dogs in a nearby yard start barking because she's screaming. So he shoots her, and he takes her earrings, steals her cash, and then he pushes her out of the car, her body out of the car.
Her dead body.
Mm-hmm. So he goes home and he brings the head in and shows Carol.
Here's his head that got. I killed another lady, but I didn't keep
Here's
her.
the head. Here's the head. So they keep the head in the fridge, and she takes it out and puts makeup on it. And he takes it in the shower with him. Like, just really gross.
They've lost it. Now,
They've
what are these
totally
sons
lost
doing
it.
during all this?
I don't know. They don't mention the
He
sons.
takes a shower with the head.
Yeah, and God knows what's happening in there.
She put makeup
She
on
puts
it.
makeup on, putting makeup on it. Then they go put
Are
it
they
in
laughing about all
I
this?
think.
Or just like,
It
think
must
this is
be.
great?
Then they put it in a box, and then they drop
Are
it.
you sure this is all true?
It says they drop it off about a mile west of the Studio City Sizzler. So it's in a parking lot of the Sizzler.
They just drop it off in
Drop
the
it. It's
Sizzler?
in a box.
Well, maybe the head just going to hang out.
The morning of June 27th, Jonathan Caravello finds the box blocking his parking spot. And he's like, "Oh, here's a box. Oh,
Who's
somebody
this
left me a
Jonathan
present."
Do we know
Just some
anybody?
guy.
Okay, just some guy.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, somebody left this box in my spot."
What's in the box?
Oh, I wonder what's in the box. So he opens it up.
What's in the box?
Yeah, he opens it up.
What that's from? 7.
Oh,
What's
that's
in the box? What's in the box?
all right.
It's Gwyneth
So
Paltrow's head.
he opens it up and he finds the head wrapped in a T-shirt and jeans. And so he calls the police.
This head's got makeup on it and it was fucked in a shower.
Well, no, I think they cleaned it off again.
After wiped all the makeup off.
Yeah,
Maybe
they
she was
wiped
just
all.
practicing.
They wiped all any evidence off of it. I
She's
guess
just trying to get a job at Macy's.
it could be. So meanwhile, the relationship between Doug and Carol is deteriorating.
Oh, it's deteriorating.
It is.
I would think it's getting stronger.
So no, they. He's
Remember
going
the
out
time-
more and more with other women. He doesn't touch her anymore. They bicker all the time. He threatens to pack up and leave. The only time he's interested in any sexual contact is if she brings over this 11-year-old girl. So I know it's gross. So
Jeez.
they do continue to go out cruising together, but they're finding it harder and harder to find anyone to get in the car with them because word is starting to get around town that there's the Sunset Strip murders of all these sex workers in the area. So she calls her old friend Dick Geis. Remember him, the porn writer?
He was a porn writer that encouraged her to write, right?
So she calls him, and she's
not the father
upset.
of her kids, though, right?
No.
Okay.
She calls him, and she tells him about what's going on, and he tries to convince her to call the police, but she doesn't. Then she calls him back later.
Did he ever write a porn based on this story?
Maybe. Then she calls him back later and tells him, well, she's writing a story, and she was just testing to see how believable it was. That none of that was really true.
Yeah.
So then at her job, she starts making all these mistakes because she's working as a nurse this whole time.
Oh, yeah.
So she tries to kill herself by injecting herself with insulin in her car. And then the Doug has called the paramedics and all this stuff. So it's real dysfunctional. I mean, obviously it's dysfunctional if they've got a head in the refrigerator.
If you're putting makeup on a head, if they're taking
right.
the head to the shower, it's already nothing else. Kids be surprised.
Yeah, that's right. So meanwhile, Doug has continued to murder sex workers, and sometimes he has sex with the corpses and stuff like that. So like you do. So anyway, Carol goes to visit Jack Murray, the singer that she was having an affair with.
Yeah, right. That's right, where he met Doug.
So she shows him the guns. There's guns in her car. She shows him the guns. She tells him
about the murders.
He tries to tell her to go to the police. She asks him what she should do. When he tells her she should go to the police, she starts to get scared.
Because she was an accomplice, man.
Well, and so she starts freaking out, thinking later, oh, God.
What about her sons? Where are they at?
They don't mention them
They're
again.
just hanging out, playing Yahtzee?
Yeah, they don't mention them again.
Now they're playing Pac-Man.
So she starts freaking out, thinking, oh, God, he's going to tell on us. So she gets him. She goes back to seduce him, try to get him in his van, says, let's go out to the van. So he says, okay. They go out to the van. She kills him, shoots him.
Oh,
she cuts his head off.
Jack Murray's head.
Cuts his head off.
Jack Murray's head now?
Then she takes that with her.
Puts makeup on it?
Puts makeup on it. No, she
Okay.
doesn't with it. Then she goes and gets Doug from the Jergens factory, and they go and go to a dumpster and put the head in a dumpster.
Oh, let's go put his head in a dumpster, Doug.
Yep. So now really the relationship's
Doug,
going down the
can
tubes.
you take a lunch break?
I know it's hard to believe.
I got a head over here. I had to kill
Right.
Jack Murray.
Well, this is really hard to believe, but the relationship's really starting to go downhill now.
See, I would think it would strengthen throughout all these things.
Doug starts getting freaked out that he's yelling at her that she shouldn't have killed Jack and that she probably left evidence and that she's going to get him caught, that she probably left shell casings in his van. No. So 6 days later, after killing Jack Murray, they go down to that little Nashville club that they like to go to.
What's the date now? It's like July?
Well, let's see. That was August 3rd. So 6 days later would be 9th. August 9th.
Okay. We already missed Magic by Olivia
Oh, go ahead.
John coming out.
Wait, talk about that. It's my favorite.
We missed all of July.
All right, let's go back.
So we missed Airplane. Airplane was released on July 2nd during all this.
Yeah.
The 1980 comedy Airplane. Remember that?
Yes, I love that.
It was based on the 1957 drama 0 Hour. It follows the same plot, uses the same character
I didn't know
name,
that.
and parodies numerous scenes, which I didn't know. So I can't imagine that being that funny, though. So Billy Joel, July 19th, It's Still Rock and Roll to Me came out.
That's a good song.
That was number one. It became number one. Still Rock and Roll to Me. So we missed that.
Sorry.
Caddyshack was released July 25th.
Yeah.
And remember Caddyshack?
Yes, I love Caddyshack.
Remember the scene with Baby Ruth candy bars?
Yes.
That was based on a true real-life incident that happened to Brian Doyle Murray at his high school. Yeah.
Somebody pooped in the pool.
Somebody pooped in the pool, yeah. So maybe they threw the candy
Didn't
bar.
you say that one time somebody said if you have 3 wishes and one of them was to poop in a pool?
I did that. I said that.
That's what I'm saying. Didn't you say that once?
I was doing a stand-up
That's what it was.
gig, and it was it's called Funny on the Fly. You just show
Oh,
up.
and you said one of your wishes would be to poop in a pool.
No, it was just like what's something you've never done that you wish you could do?
Oh, and you said poop in a pool.
Yeah, I've never done that, and I would like to just feel what that's like.
I
to
just
poop
think
in a
there's
pool.
something wrong with you.
Wouldn't you like to just know what it's like to poop in a pool?
No, I don't want to swim around in my own poop.
I didn't say I want to swim around. I
Well,
just
you'd
wanna
have to
swim
be in the water with it.
Well, I can get out after I poop. I just want to see what it's like to poop while
I'm
I'm
watching you all
underwater.
summer in our pool.
I'm going to poop out there.
I know you are.
Do all kinds of stuff out there. Poop,
All right.
pee,
All
cry,
right.
cry.
Yeah, barf.
And August 2nd, Olivia Newton-John's Magic from the movie.
I love that song.
From the movie.
Xanadu.
From Xanadu. It was from the soundtrack.
Oh,
from
me
Xanadu.
and Katie were all about Xanadu. We had the album. We had, oh my God,
Does this go,
matching
do you
headbands.
believe in magic?
No, that's not it. It's
Do you believe
no.
in
Now I'm not going to be able to think of it because you're singing.
magic?
It's
I don't think I know this song.
Yeah, you do. I can't think of it now because you were singing.
Magic.
It's
Abracadabra.
no. See, forget it because you keep singing, so I can't think of it.
Magic by Olivia Newton-John. I know
It's,
the other one. Physical.
Katie's going to kill me. I know Xanadu, but I can't think of the tune right now. All the other songs are going in my head. I'll think of it.
Do you know it was number one from August 2nd all the way to August 29th of 1980?
That's pretty sweet.
Like 27 days it was number one.
That's a good song.
And what day?
I remember Katie had a friend that was making her a compilation CD back a long time ago with a bunch of songs with some friend in LA, and she asked for contributions, and that was the song I put from
Magic?
Yeah, Magic from Olivia Newton-John. And Katie, she loved it. Oh, I'll think of it. After killing Jack Murray 6 days later, so they go down to the little Nashville club that they like to go to. And Jack's wife, Jeanette, is looking everywhere for him. She can't find him. She doesn't know what's happened.
Jack?
So a block down the street, neighbors have called police because there's this abandoned van and there's this stench coming out of the van.
Because it's got to be filled with. That's where they cut up all the body parts.
No,
right?
that's the van, Jack's van, that she killed him in.
Oh.
So his headless body's in the van.
His body's just decomposing.
Yeah,
in the van.
so police go down there and they find his headless body in
Why
the
did they
van.
cut the head off? Like, what
I
does
guess
that
so they
mean?
can't be identified, I guess.
You can still identify bodies.
I
without
know.
Heads?
I know. Well, they're crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
So his word of his death reaches the people at the saloon or the bar or whatever they call it, the little Nashville place.
Yeah. Where Jack sings.
And people are wandering down the street to the van, and police are questioning them, and they start learning more about Jack, what kind of person he was. Carol hears about it, and she goes hysterical, acts crying and carrying on, and she's in public in front of all these people. She's acting like
she's pretending.
She's just yes.
But methinks thou doth.
So
methinks doth
protest too much.
Methinks thou doth protest too much.
Just say that 5 times fast. So she, as soon as she can, though, she tells Doug to get rid of the guns. That it's gonna.
Doug, get rid of the guns.
So he leaves, and back at the bar, the police question all the customers and staff, and they start telling the police that Jack had mentioned that he was afraid that Carol had showed him guns in her car and that he was afraid of her.
Good thing he mentioned that.
I know. So the next afternoon, Carol opens the door and there's 2 detectives at her house.
Boom.
So she says, "Oh, excuse me, I gotta go put some clothes on. I got a shower."
Was one detective black and one white?
And they're
like Ben Vereen
10 speed and brown shoe.
10 speed
So
and
she
brown shoe.
throws on a house coat, goes to tell Doug. They take her down to the police station for questioning. Doug follows her there because he wants to control everything all the time.
Oh, shit. Doug in the hands.
So he and Carol had already planned this mutual alibi for the 3rd of August, the night Jack was killed.
Right.
They had planned it out what they were going to say. And they were going to say
well, Magic by Olivia Newton-John is the number one song.
And they were home in bed together that night. That's what they were going to say.
Doing it.
So Carol changes the story slightly and says she had seen Jack earlier that day.
Oh, no.
And how Jack's treating her so badly and all the money he stole from her. And
Jack?
Yeah, that
Jack
she's
treated her
telling the
badly?
police
Oh.
that, like, from back
Right.
in the day when Jack took her money and stuff.
Okay, yeah, right.
So she does tell him she owns these 2 guns, but had sold them, and she gives the name a detailed description of the man who bought the guns, which is all bullshit,
Yeah.
So they know there's something wrong with Carol and Doug's stories, and they
Ain't adding up. Carol and Doug.
they let them go, but they figure we're going to keep an eyeball out on these 2. So
We let these murderers go who chop somebody's head off.
right, the next
They'll
day,
be fine because it's 1980. Who cares?
well, the next day at work, Carol goes to work, and it's like she snaps. She confesses to 2 coworkers
Oh, no. At work?
that she kills this Jack guy. Yeah. So they run to the office and call the police, and then within minutes, all the upper floors of the building are sealed off, and the SWAT team's
it.
there and everything. But she slips through the basement and gets away.
What?
On the way home, she stops at the Jergens factory to tell
I
Doug.
better tell Doug. I
that
messed up. I told some people.
Yeah. So she tells Doug she's going to turn herself in.
Doug,
She offers him her money. She says, "You get away. You go and
just
you do
go
what you
ahead,
can do.
Doug,
Get away."
because I'll take the fall because really,
Yeah.
you are more important.
But he decides he's got a better idea, he thinks. So he calls the detective and he says, "Forget about what I said before. Carol and I weren't together the night Jack was killed. She went out. I was home."
He's going to pin it on
He
her.
is. That's right. So back at the apartment, Carol calls the police, tells them of all the murders that she wants to turn herself and her boyfriend in. And before she even hangs up, the police are already there because they know.
They know.
They know.
They're after
so they go, and then they go to the factory at the same time, arrest Doug. So they're both arrested.
At the Juergens factory.
At the Juergens factory, Doug gets
where
arrested.
he burned his vehicle.
That's right. So at the police station.
I mean, he's a dedicated worker, though. I got to say,
he stayed at the Juergens factory.
He didn't leave his shift throughout any of this.
No, I know.
Keep making Juergens.
Yep. So, at the police station,
Juergens could use this as an ads.
They could, but how good it is to work there. So
our workers are dedicated, even if they've murdered a bunch of people.
They're still dedicated. So at the police station, in graphic detail, she describes the murders and how she was involved with Jack
and put makeup on the head and
Doug's sexual fantasies
banging
and
a head in the shower.
The 11-year-old girl, and she confesses she really enjoyed the killings. So they don't
really
know what to think about her. Well, because of the way she looks, and wait till you see a picture of her. They're looking at her like, we have no idea. We've never seen anything like this woman.
My favorite thing is when people have real bad eyesight and they have real thick glasses and you can't even see their eyes.
That's how hers are.
I know, but I love that. I don't know why I love that.
You love that.
I just get a kick out of that. I really enjoy it.
It's like Mr. Magoo. So Doug, they keep Doug in a holding cell, and then they take him downtown, and he's real arrogant and cocky, and he's just blaming everything on Carol and Jack. He says it's Carol and Jack that did all those killings. I wasn't involved at all.
Now he's saying Jack did.
Yeah, he says it wasn't me. She's lying. It was Carol and Jack. But Jeanette, Jack's wife, says no, I was with him. She has an alibi for most of the nights of the murders. So that doesn't work. And then they also find more evidence at the apartment, in the garage, and in his car. And then they find the 2 guns at the Juergens factory that he went and hid.
They found the guns.
Yep. So he's convicted on. So do you have anything? Well, this is just the very end. We'll go back to August of 1980.
What day were you at?
I was just going to say in 1983, he's convicted and given the death penalty.
Yep.
So he's still on death row to this day. He married another woman. You know, there's always these weird women that go and they fall in love with serial killers.
Prisoners.
Prison serial killers.
Conjugal visits and stuff.
Yep. And he still says he's innocent, and it was all Carol. So she withdrew her not guilty by reason of insanity plea and pleaded guilty to 2 charges of first-degree murder. So she escaped the death penalty by doing that. Right. She would continue to support Doug Clark in his fight to prove his innocence, even though he would continue to discredit her. So she was a doormat to the end.
Yeah.
And then in December 9th, 2003, she died in prison of heart failure. Oh. And that's the story of the Sunset Strip Killers.
Sunset Strip Killers. That was a crazy fucking ride.
Yeah, that was a crazy fucking ride.
That was fucking crazy.
Crazy
and
fucking
the 80s
ride.
is just, I just think it's going to be a season of craziness.
Crazy fucking rides.
Crazy fucking shit.
Well, no, we're not even done. See, we're trying to do a different format where...
Yeah, we're going to see. We got the rest of the year because we stopped in August when all this shit went down in 1980.
Yeah, we're trying this out. It's a little rocky, but...
Yeah, so we'll just finish out the year. But it might cleanse the palate from some of this crazy ass shit.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just gross.
It's awful.
The pedophilia stuff's gross. But it seems like 80 is just going to be a lot crazier than the 90s were. So we think that the world's so fucked up now. It was really fucked up back then.
That's right.
So we left off at Olivia Newton-John was during all that. August 30th, Christopher Cross, Sailing.
Oh, what an awful song.
Becomes number 1 on August 30th till September 5th. It was number 1. Diana Ross then took over the charts on September 6th with Upside Down.
Oh, I love that song. Boy, you turn me. Yep.
Do you know who wrote that song?
Quincy Jones or somebody.
Bernard Edwards and Nile Rodgers.
Why?
The band Chic.
Oh, okay.
Again,
there they are.
They've done everything.
Yep. You have to believe we are magic.
There it is.
Nothing can stand in our way. And if all your heart survive, memory will arrive to make all your dreams alive tonight. That's it.
September 23rd, Harley Race versus Bob Backlund. The WWF World Champion Bob Backlund wrestled the NWA World Champion Harley Race. So that can't happen anymore. Okay. And even in the era, the Attitude Era, everything, the NWA champion would never fight the WWF champion. It was just, they were separate. It was unheard of.
Yeah.
John Bonham died on September 25th. The drummer for Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay. Mm.
The inquest on October 27th of 1980 showed that in 24 hours, Bonham had consumed around 40 shots.
Jeez.
After which he vomited and choked.
Alcohol poisoning.
Well, he choked
on his vomit.
October 1st, 1980, Pac-Man was released in the U.S.
Oh, fucking Pac-Man.
And it was originally called Puck-Man.
Was it really?
But it was changed to avoid people changing it to Fuck-Man.
Yeah, that was smart.
October 14th, the number 1 hit on the Billboard charts was now Another One Bites the Dust.
Oh, there we go.
And Another One Bites the Dust, John Deacon's bass line was inspired by Good Times by the disco group
Chic.
Same thing.
Good times.
And you can see where that
the good times.
At the beginning of that, you could hear where that would come from too. Same but also Michael Jackson attended a Queen concert in Los Angeles, and he suggested to Freddie Mercury that they should release that as a single.
Another One Bites the Dust, and that's what they did.
That's why they released it. Yeah. October 21st, the Philadelphia Phillies won the World Series. It's the first time for Philadelphia. They beat the Royals in 4 games to 2 games, and Mike Schmidt was the MVP.
Our neighbor?
Not Mike Schmitz.
Oh, okay.
Mike Schmidt.
Okay.
He had a mustache.
Okay.
October 25th, Barbra Streisand's Woman in Love.
I am a woman in love, and I'll do anything.
Barbra Streisand is just awful.
Oh, my God, I'm telling.
I'm sorry, Don McAllister.
I'm telling Don McAllister that. You said that.
None of her music is good at all. I don't like any of it. November 15th, Lady by Kenny Rogers. It's number 1.
Yep.
And do you know who wrote that song?
Dolly Parton?
It was number 1 from November 15th to December 26th of 1980. And it was a live recording of Lady off his greatest hits.
Well, who wrote it?
Lionel Richie.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, Lionel Richie wrote that. How cool is that?
Yeah.
November 21st, Who Shot JR?
Oh, yeah.
You familiar with all that?
Yep, I am.
It's a big whodunit.
Who Shot JR?
It was watched by 83 million people.
I watched it. I probably watched it. I was allowed to watch Dallas.
You were?
I had to go to bed. I had to go to bed right after Dallas.
We had to go to bed when Dallas came on.
And then when I got older, I could watch that and Falcon Crest. Yep.
We were allowed.
It was Dukes of Hazzard, then Incredible Hulk, then Dallas, then Falcon Crest.
We went to bed after Incredible Hulk, and we all got to watch the beginning of Dallas because we were Cowboys fans in the house at the time.
So you could see this Dallas Stadium.
The Dallas Stadium. Okay, there's the Dallas Stadium. Now you have to go to bed. That's what it was with us on Friday nights or whatever it was on.
Friday nights, that's right.
November 28th, Dukes of Hazzard was another number 1 show of 1980. Right. James Best left the show over a dispute over dressing rooms.
Who did he play?
He played Roscoe P.
Oh, really? He left?
He left the show for the remainder of the season over a dressing room dispute. And he was replaced by Huey Hogg, who was Boss Hogg's nephew.
Did they get him back?
Yeah, he came back.
I was going to say.
December 8th, John Lennon was
that was the other one.
In 1980.
That's right.
We lost John Lennon.
Yep.
On the night of Monday, December 8th, 1980, Lennon was shot dead by Mark David Chapman in the archway of the Dakota, his residence in New York City. Lennon had just returned from his record plant studio with his wife, Yoko Ono. After sustaining 4 major gunshot wounds, Lennon was pronounced dead on arrival at Roosevelt Hospital. At the hospital, personnel stated that nobody could have lived longer than a few minutes after sustaining such injuries. Shortly after local news stations reported Lennon's death, crowds gathered at Roosevelt Hospital and in front of the Dakota. Chapman pled guilty to the murder of Lennon and was sentenced to 20 years to life in prison. He had remained in prison ever since, having been denied parole 9 times.
I think he's insane.
Against his release after he became eligible in 2000. Yeah, he was a big fan. He loved John Lennon. So, of course, he's insane. I remember. So I was 4, and I remember my mom was
destroyed.
Was in love with John Lennon. Like she jumped on stage with him one time at a Beatles concert. I mean, I remember her being in tears, and I was just a little kid.
Yeah.
I wasn't in school yet, so she stayed home with me. And when my mom was in tears, two times my mom being in tears when I was little, when our dog Buckwheat died, and when John Lennon was murdered. And so I started crying. You start crying when your mom's crying. So I'm bawling, and so I get kind of choked up when I think about that. But, and when I think how peaceful and amazing he was, and imagine
it was a big loss.
That song, it's crazy. But, anyway, December 12th, Stir Crazy came out.
Switching gears.
Same thing. Stir Crazy came out.
I love that movie.
Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder, they improvised most of the scenes.
You know, that Henry would probably enjoy that movie.
I don't think it's for kids.
I feel like I watched it.
Richard Pryor is not for kids.
I know, but I feel like I watched it when I was his age.
You probably shouldn't have.
But then again,
there's no way.
It was on TV. It was probably on TV, and they bleeped it out.
I mean, it's Richard Pryor. For God's sakes.
That's true. I bet it was.
Did you know that Sidney Poitier directed that? Mm-mm. That's the first film by an African American director to make $100 million. But Sidney Poitier directed it.
That's cool.
I didn't know that. But according to Greg Ferrara at Turner Classic Movies, Pryor was constantly late to the set, sometimes showing up at noon, as much as 4 hours late.
Probably doing it with Marlon Brando.
Yeah, probably. His bodyguard later admitted to Pryor's agent, David Franklin, that Pryor was freebasing cocaine every night during the shoot. This made the star's behavior erratic and paranoid. December 19th, 9 to 5.
I loved that movie.
Came out. I've never seen it.
Oh my God, it's a pretty good movie. And I went to see it in the theater with my cousin Katie. I think it was with Katie. Well, and it's pretty good. It stands up. The three girls taking revenge on the male chauvinist pig.
Dolly Parton accepted the role with the condition that she would write and sing the theme song.
And it's a great song.
It was nominated for an Academy Award and won 2 Grammys.
That's right.
She made the same deal for almost every other movie she did, except for Steel Magnolias. And also, Dolly Parton has giant boobs.
That's the news flash.
Yeah, Dolly Parton's hot, man. She's still hot.
Yeah.
December 27th, we're getting towards the end of 1980. The number 1 single took over from 9-5 was Starting Over by John Lennon.
Yep, that was a good song.
After
his death.
Yep. And that is the end of 1980 because it ended up with John Lennon being the number 1 song.
Wow.
And I think
with
the
Wild
world
Ride
was just like so
mourning.
heartbroken by him and his death, and we lost an amazing guy. But so that's 1980 was fucked up.
Wild ride.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
That was 1980.
Wild
Everybody,
80.
thanks if you're sticking around on the journey with us for season 2. Thank you for being here. 1980 is gonna get fucked up.
Yes, just goes downhill from this. So, yep, it's time to get out of here, Chuck Berry.
Get the fuck out, Chuck Berry.